RK's Guyana Free Media continues in the raw. My side of the coin. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing my own recording. It is, so I have a little bit of difficulty at times. My side of the coin. On the call by Harmon for me to resign. Now, I'm not going to taunt him. I'm not going to mock him because that is not my way or style. I just wish him well, and I hope that he can arouse and awake and try to realize that he needs other people to win an election, and don't alienate the people and then later on or cause injury to them. And when election time comes, you will go around begging for votes. I've told you already, Mr. Harmon, Brigadier David Ortick Granger and your cabinet, former cabinet and so on. I told you all, learn to win friends and influence people, and read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And now to the article, My Side of the Coin. Dear editor, I wish to make it pellucid that my heart stands for that which is right and that which is beneficial for Guyana. I will never do anything in our country or anywhere else for that matter that would be inimical to law, order, goodwill, and or harmony. I have always been a man to follow the ideals of peace and justice. And I will forever be that man to uphold these ideals. These are my words, ladies and gentlemen. And this does not reflect any commission or any institution with which I am associated, or any organization. Back to the article. I'm writing this missive with a great deal of pain and sorrow in my heart for what is currently prevailing in our country. It breaks my heart that there are political forces that are seeking to create disharmony and affect lives, even as the country weeps in order to push their sinister agendas. Unquestionably, no question, the murders of Isaiah Henry, Joel Henry, and Harish Singh was absolutely barbaric, uncivilized, and incomprehensible to ordinary minds. I cried a lot. My family cried. Almost everyone cried in the tragic murder of Isaiah and Joel Henry. A commentary which to me was the worst I have ever seen a human killed here. And I know these kinds of killings only take place in places like Venezuela, Colombia, sometimes in the United States of America, Mexico, and so on, to send a very serious message. I don't know what is the connection, what happened, but these are some of the most atrocious of killings ever. One could see that it had no bearing to coconuts. The manner in which they were murdered with X on their foreheads suggested gang violence and or drug connection. The X came like this, so it was on the forehead and the face, and very broad, blunt instrument because it was extended. Suggested gang violence and or drug connections. I am not suggesting that these young men were involved in drugs. I don't know. But these are the kind of things that are done in drug countries. Colombia, some parts of the United States, Mexico, Venezuela, Colombia, sometimes Belize. But this theory of being gang-related was somewhat confirmed when their childhood friend Harish Singh was murdered in a similar manner just days later. Well, he was beaten in the head, huh? Imagine a young man, nice, beautiful young man. And these three guys were great friends, man. They're great, fantastic friends. I'm saying there might have been something which these gangs felt they needed to wipe out. I'm repeating, there may have been something which these gangs felt they needed to wipe out. However, the political rhetoric and the visitation of the various areas by the opposition where people certainly turned up, showed interference in the police investigation to create disharmony and possibly, in some misconceived way, the downfall of the government of Guyana. I honestly, commentary, believe this, friends and families, ladies and gentlemen, they had some sinister motive to this level. Innocent people suffered. Men were killed, stripped, beaten, chopped. Women were robbed and violated. And to add salt to the wounds, the encouragement by the opposition was deeply disheartening. Leader of the opposition, Joseph Harmon, went on to ferociously encourage his protesters. This response is a correct response. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And some people are trying to say it doesn't mean whatever they're doing was right. They already started beating and killing and burning and looting and stopping people from, and they were saying, a commentary, ladies and gentlemen, that Indians can't pass. I have a Branford Burke. I don't know why they're doing these things, man. We want to foster goodwill and love. Branford Burke, Richford Burke, look, you're entitled to your political opinion. I salute you for that. I respect that. But don't cause disharmony and mayhem amongst our peoples, man. Back to the article. It boggles my mind to think that certain political powerhouses do not understand that when they do these things, it has a tendency to affect them in the long run. In the scheme of things in the universe, what you put out is what you would receive. One of the Henry boys' father indicated that they do not want any of this kind of behavior, but yet they can't stop them. Look at when Mr. Todd, the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, was addressing the people at the funeral. Look at the behavior, ladies and gentlemen. What would people think about you guys who are behaving like that? They are God's people, the father and uncle said. And they love and value all races because they grew up in a mixed society. Back to the article. But his voice and the voice of that of his wife went in vain to those with sinister plans. Now let me show you and explain to you what the mother said in the early days. Obviously, they might not, children sometimes do their own things. Remember this in the raw, ladies and gentlemen, so I could take a sip of water. When she said, this is not about race or politics. What has happened in Guyana in the last few days has placed certain political personalities into a position where they will be looked down upon for a very long time to come. It is troubling that in a time of mourning, their goal is that of dominance instead of listening and inspiring others to live in harmony and peace. They swept the words of the parents of the Henry boys under the rug and used the opportunity to fan racial and political warfare. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, commentary, all of this happened just after and when the swearing in of the president, that the words virtually said, we will make this country ungovernable. And as I see it, the way it was done was to create difficulties for food to reach Georgetown, for business and cash to get to the people in the quarantine, and to create strife and hate and destruction of people's vehicles and so on. Nowhere did we ever hear any of the leaders of the opposition instructing their people for calm. We only started getting the calm, friends and families, ladies and gentlemen, when His Excellency the President indicated that he will be inviting the United Nations Tribunal to conduct an international inquiry into Guyana and the RSS, the Regional Security Service, and CARICOM to conduct this inquiry. It's sad that we had to go there and once again burdening, as Mr. Saunders has said, the CARICOM. It is so unfair that Guyanese and a particular set of people who are supposed to be leaders of goodwill and peace and who forget that they need other segments of the population to win an election. And what has happened would be placed in the heads of the people. Even if they get upset with the current government, they would not want to leave them because they are suffering from fear, terror. I wish to take the opportunity to compliment the People's Progressive Party and the government for not calling out on their supporters to retaliate, but to call for peace and calm on a constant basis. This is the hallmark of decency and elegance. For saying these things, I'm being branded a political adherent of the PPPC. Have you all ever seen me associating with anybody in the PPPC? But I am a commentator and a thinker, and so I will do what I have to do in a right manner and a decent manner, without trying to humiliate, make mockery of, or harass anybody. It is troubling that in a time of mourning, their goal is that of dominance, as I said, listening, being responsible, loving and fair, and inspiring others to live in harmony and peace. They swept the words of the parents of the Henry boys under the rug. As a result, they swept the words of the parents of the Henry boys under the rug and used the opportunity to fund racial and political warfare. But the war includes two sides. One side was not doing anything at all. Imagine a guy went up and shared I think 244,000 times around the world. A guy just walking, police on the other side, a neighborhood police right at the back of the bus, went up to the bus driver and started punching him in the face. And I made to understand that the police got a report, they got a medical report, they know who it is, they know where the man lives, and no arrest. The people contacted me, and I asked them to send me photographs, a copy of the police report, and whatever else they have, so I could try to get it to the Minister of Home Affairs to ask why the police are not finding this guy. But I think in time, everybody who were out there and exposed by social media will be brought to justice. You cannot allow this to happen. Otherwise, people who allow these things to happen, sometimes the same people turn back on you, when you don't do something right. Back to the article. As a result of what was happening, the violence against a specific ethnic group, that is, I gave some advice as a security operative specialist. I did the same thing in Bath Settlement when the school bus was attacked or pelted. And I think it was very careless of some people to pass with a school bus with school children at that time, unless it was intentional. And I have a strong feeling it was intentional, because they know these people were in a frenzy, and many of them, they wear the PPP outfit, but they were drunk. They were not getting blessings or sanctions from the PPP. Maybe in the early days they were visited and they were advised to close down and go home. But they started to do their own thing. And one of them was killed. I repeat. And look at what happened in Myconi and Bath. People were murdered, raped, killed, chopped, businesses burnt, their vehicles in debt burnt. Until now, nobody in the opposition has given us sorrow or went to meet them and see what they could do to help those people, friends and families. So I believe that vehicle passing there, even though it might have been something to get the guys to do something wrong, yet still I'm saying those who pelted the bus were wrong. And it caused children to get injured. And that was wrong. Completely wrong. Back to the article. Likewise, I condemn the incident that occurred recently, as I mentioned earlier, I gave advice on how to protect themselves. Guyana, or in this case, the people who were beaten and killed in the community, to form protection groups equipped with batons and sticks. Baton and sticks for self-defense only. This was intended to say, as I have to do it now because some people don't seem to understand it, including the leader of the opposition. Why he's doing this, I don't know. Because I haven't been attacking him. I've been just reading articles by people, mostly Freddie Kissoon. But he's upset about that. This was intended to say, do not bring sharp tools or other equipment that could seriously harm others. Friends and family, I will stop here at this time for the other part, which will start immediately. Stay tuned, invite your friends and family, and share.